Recently, I was working on a hypothetical case study of a person who has lost majority of his wealth. Suppose that individual was a very rich person whose net worth was, let's say, 100 crores. But because of business losses or something else, that person has lost majority of his net worth. And now he's left with his last 1 crore. It is a hypothetical situation where I am assuming that the person's net worth has come down from 100 crore levels to 1 crore level. So he is left with his last 1 crore. So a person like this who has faced this kind of debacle in his life, how he will use those last 1 crore levels to rebuild his wealth, how such a person should think about rebuilding his life back again. We will discuss about this case study. It is a very unique situation where a person who has been very successful one time is now facing hardships, and how such a person will react to this situation. He doesn't want to give up. He is a very perseverant man who wants to fight this situation, and so using all his experience of life, he wants to use that last 1 crore to rebuild his wealth from scratch. Let's assume that the person we are talking about is a financially intelligent person. He knows how to manage his finances. So, with all the intellect in place, how this person is going to use his last 1 crore. So, what he has decided that he is going to invest this last 1 crore, and upon investing his money, he should be able to generate a regular monthly income. And the purpose of generating this regular monthly income will be to achieve financial independence in life. So maybe this 1 crore initial investment is not going to make him financially independent, but his mindset is like that over a period of time he will continue investing in such a way that his investment generates a monthly income for him, and which in turn will eventually make him financially independent. So, with this thought process going in his mind, let's see how this person approach to invest his last 1 crore. So, this person, before taking the final step of investment, he discussed with few people around him, and mostly all the people suggested him to invest in a physical real estate property, because a property like that is going to generate a rental income which will emulate his theory of fixed income generation, fixed monthly income generation. Mostly he was convinced that his last remaining 1 crore is going to buy a rental real estate property. It could have been a residential property or a commercial property. But he thought that I have heard everybody now, let's do my own research, let's use my own mind to decide that what is going to be my final investment. He wrote down three of his priorities. The first priority was wherever he is going to invest, he should get a high yield. That is number one. Secondly, his priority was he will choose only those investments which are capable of giving him a regular monthly income. And his third priority was his income from investment should grow at a decent rate. When I say decent rate, he doesn't wanted a fast growth. At least at some decent level, his monthly income should grow over time. So with these three priorities in his mind, he started researching about where he could invest his money. So for sure, when he was doing his research, he could see that rental property is looking like the most obvious choice. But he also looked at two other alternatives. The second alternative that he looked at was dividend plans of mutual funds. So generally speaking, we have three kinds of mutual funds. First are the equity funds, second is the debt based funds, and third is the hybrid funds, that is a mixture of equity and debt. So because he was facing a very tough situation in his life, he decided that he will not go for a very aggressive equity based mutual funds. Neither he could afford to go with the debt funds because the yield of the debt funds is rather too low. So he decided to go for a hybrid mutual fund, and because he needed a regular monthly income, his option was the dividend plan. So a mutual fund with a dividend plan can generate a regular monthly income for its investors. So he researched few hybrid plans available in the Indian market, and he could find two reliable hybrid mutual funds having a dividend plan. He checked the dividend history of those two mutual funds. So in the last 2.5 3 years, they have given dividend regularly, irrespective of fact that in between we also faced the COVID situation. So he picked these two mutual funds, and these two mutual funds were HDFC Balance Advantage Fund and Aditya Birla Sun Life Balance Advantage Fund. So these two Balance Advantage Fund, the dividend plan of these two balanced mutual funds, issued regular dividends to its investors. So this was his second research, where he could see that a balance advantage fund of HDFC and Aditya Birla Sun Life has potential to give him regular monthly income in times to come. And when he did the research about the yield of this balanced mutual fund, especially HDFC Balance Advantage Fund was generating a yield of around 9% per annum, which for a hybrid fund, especially for a dividend paying mutual fund, it's a very good yield. Compare this yield to the yield of a real estate property. A real estate property in India for cities like Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, etc., they are going to generate a rental yield of around 3.5% per annum. So compared to this small yield of 3.5%, the yield generated by the hybrid mutual fund at 9% levels was very nice. He also checked the dividend history of Aditya Birla Sun Life's Balance Advantage Fund, and there also he could find that the yield was around 4.5 to 5% per annum, which is again higher than the yield that a real estate property could generate. Upon research, he was very happy to see that the balance advantage funds are generating much higher yields, very much in line with his expectation. His expectation was his investment should at least generate 4% yield and not less. On one hand, the real estate properties were generating a smaller yield than 4%, and on the other hand, these balance advantage funds, especially this HDFCs and Aditya Birla's balance advantage funds, were generating higher yields than what he was expecting. So he was very happy. So now he also studied a third option, which was real estate investment trust. These real estate investment trusts are new in India. They have come in last maybe 2 or 3 years, but they are also tailor made to generate regular income for their investors. Maybe they do not distribute the dividends per month, but they can distribute the dividends on quarterly, semi-quarterly, or on annual basis. So for our person, this was good enough. Even if he gets dividend at least once in a year, it's going to work for him. So when he did the yield study for the REITs, the real estate investment trusts, he could find that the embassy office REITs is at the present price level, because in the last few months the price of embassy REITs has come down. So at the present price levels of around 306 307 rupees, this embassy REITs was generating a yield of 6% per annum. So again, his benchmark was 4%, and he could find a REITs which is yielding a 6% returns. So now this person had three options in his hands. First is he had a rental property, but the problem with rental property is they are so capital intensive that if he buys a decent rental property, maybe his whole 1 crore will go only to buy a residential property. And moreover, the yield of this residential property was too low, at 3 to 3.5% levels, he was not happy with this yield. So he let this idea of investing in a rental property, he let go that idea. So now there are only two options left. The other was the balance advantage fund and REITs. So what he decided, that he will invest 60% of his money in HDFC's balance advantage fund. He will invest 10% in Aditya Birla Sun Life balance advantage fund, and the balance 30% he will invest in REITs. So you can see in this table, the HDFC Balance Advantage Fund was yielding a return of 7.8% per annum. So by investing around 60 lakhs rupees in HDFC Balance Advantage Fund, he could generate a monthly income of around 45,000 per month. Secondly, Aditya Birla Sun Life Balance Advantage Fund was yielding a return of around 5.4% per annum, and by investing around 10 lakh rupees in this mutual fund, he could generate around 4,500 monthly income. The Embassy Office REITs, it was yielding a return of around 6% per annum, and so by investing around 30 lakh rupees in REITs, he could generate a monthly income of around 15,000 per annum. So adding all this, the monthly income from HDFC, from Aditya Birla Sun Life Balance Advantage Fund, and from REITs, he could see that by investing around 1 crore rupees in these three investment options, he could generate around 64,500 rupees per month. So though this monthly income was not sufficient, but at least he could see that because these investment options are kind of a secure options, his first of all his 1 crore capital will be protected, and secondly he is also generating a regular monthly income, a reliable monthly income. So he was happy that he has done this research, and upon research he realized that if the priority is to generate a regular monthly income, especially for a person who is having a kind of a financial trouble in his life, it is better to invest in investment option like a balance advantage fund or in REITs rather than investing in a rental property, because rental property yields are low as compared to these investments. Moreover, if you buy a physical property, there will be also other expenses like insurance, like property tax, like maintenance, which will further reduce its yield. So I hope you like this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching.